YouTube, good evening, good morning, whatever the heck it is. It's good to have you with me. So today I really wanted to talk about how to go from being an insecure guy to going to being a dating machine, being awesome at the art of dating, if you will, which really you should have a goal in mind with your dating life, whether it's one thing or the other, or if it's to find a long-term happy relationship, which is what I like to focus on. You should have a goal to begin with. So let's dive in. Number one thing I'll say, if you've had a poor dating or relationship life up until now, well, today is the time that you can change it, right? It can start today to be different. But the first thing I'm just going to say, and it's cliche, but is to stop making excuses. A lot of time, we're the biggest thing in our lives that hold us back from doing anything successfully, right? Whether you have a mindset that you can't get out of your own small town, or that you'll never make X amount of money, or you'll never find an awesome wife. Well, your mindset is going to define who you are, what you attract, even in your friends, stuff like that. So number one, man, stop making excuses and let's start to take control of your life. That's going to be step one. And just in your mind, start to saying that to yourself. Well, is this what I want? Oh, I can't do this. Well, that's an excuse. Usually the word can't is going to be associated with some kind of excuse, right? So let's just stop there, take control of your life, throw the past away, learn from it, but throw it away and just say, hey, I'm a new Nate today. I'm a new Jim, I'm a new Bob, whoever you are, whoever it is. Number one, start to take control of your life powerfully. So the next piece is to really identify what's holding you back in your dating life. So some guys, it might be that they have a tough time talking to women in person. They think that they can't just walk up to a girl and talk to her, start a conversation, whatever. Other guys, it might be they're really terrible at their texting and their online messaging game, or they've sent out like 20 messages in an online dating app and they're not getting anything back from it. There can be lots of things, specifically. So number one is, look in the mirror a little bit and just identify, or at least try to identify, what's truly holding you back. And then that way you can identify it and then begin some steps in your inner game, whether it's reading, whether it's watching a YouTuber like me, or partnering with a coach like me. You can start to identify that and then come up with a plan to make it better. Why do I say that? Well, this is exactly what I did when I was younger, and I would be a dating douchebag. I had a good amount of friends, life was pretty fun, did some partying, like that Nate wasn't too bad of a guy, but yet he was still pretty douchey and would treat women badly. Well, what happened is, the people around me would kind of look at me like they would cringe at me, because it's not like, if you're dating women badly or douchey or whatever, your friends aren't going to want to hook you up with their friend or their cousin or a friend of a friend, because they don't want that woman to be treated bad, just like you did to your last ex or something like that. So it's almost like a planting seeds. It's really just, not, in my case it was acting douchey, but in your case it could be something completely different. So you want to, again, identify it specifically and then start to work on yourself a little bit. Because so much of this is inner game. So much of this is, the person that you are and project is what you're going to attract very much. So step number 3 is now to truly identify what's holding you back and dig deep. So What I was just talking about is more like surface level, like, oh, I'm bad at messaging, or I'm kind of selfish and I treat women really douchey, or some combination, or whatever. Now you actually want to like do some meditation, believe it or not. And no, you don't need to like go to, the summit of Mount Everest and chant some, ridiculousness. But it is a good exercise for anyone when you're trying to work through something in your mind, even a breakup, even something like that, is to like find a quiet room in your residence and take a straight half hour to just calm your mind and start to focus singularly on dating and what's holding you back. And a lot of time your subconscious will kind of partner up with your conscious and start to lead you down this path of a tangent of, okay, well, this went wrong because this went wrong because of this decision I made, and I made that decision because I don't feel powerful enough in myself or whatever. And then it keeps going. You start to actually, through meditation, you start to find the true answer to like what really happened. So just as an example, let's say it's something like money. A lot of people say, well, I don't have any money. Okay, well, that's, again, step 2 was like the surface level problem of I don't have any money, or I have a tough time talking to women. But what's the real answer behind a money problem? Well, usually in a lot of people's cases, it is that they don't make enough. But I would ask, why don't they make enough? Or if they do make enough, let's go with that example. If somebody does make enough money, what's the real underlying reason behind that? And that's because they have a spending problem. If you look out there and you see a guy that's making 40 grand a year, but he drives a $30,000 pickup truck that he doesn't really need, he tows something twice a year, what is the source of his money problem? It's that he went out and bought too much truck, and now he's got nothing left over, especially after he pays his rent or his mortgage. There's nothing left over to throw in savings, throw in retirement, stuff like that, right? So really, the true problem is that that person has a spending problem / a contentment issue. They can't be content with driving an older truck that is still pretty good and will work 98% of the time. They got to go out and have that brand new one to impress somebody next to them at a stoplight that they'll never talk to. You see what I'm saying? So we want to find that underlying issue of what's really holding you back. Or, another thing might be too that they have a drug problem, or they have this problem. But anyway, a lot of time people make plenty of money to live on, even at the lower levels. They would have plenty of money left over once they pay their rent and their bills. It's just that they're spending on something else, that foolish car payment, drugs, who knows what it is, right? So circling back, I'm going to ask you to do some thinking, and it's not just, oh, well, I'm bad at talking to girls or I'm bad at dealing with them. I'm going to ask you why. Get to that underlying issue of like what's truly there to help you along. So step number 4 is this is again really, it's sort of part of that inner game, but it's not, okay? I want you to look at yourself objectively and look at everything you're doing in life through the lens of others. Because it's the lens of others that we're going to be judged a little bit. So I don't want to hear this thing of like, well, dating a girl shouldn't judge me, because no, especially online dating, it's all surface level judging. It's all, they look at your profile for 20 seconds and they either keep reading or they swipe left, if you will, right? So I don't even want to hear that excuse that they shouldn't judge you, because they are, just like you judge them and you do the exact same thing when you're in the dating game. So what I want you to do though is, most of us have a couple good friends. I'm 34, I've got 3, that I consider really good friends, that aren't direct family members, okay? And it can be a really healthy exercise to, when you're hanging out with them, be like, hey bro, not for nothing, but here's my, dating app or whatever. Here's my Facebook. Like, what do you think is really the reason that's I'm having bad luck with women for the last year or two? Is there anything in there? And a lot of time, your friend is going to give you, if you can drag it out of him without him being too nice to you, you can drag out an objective opinion. But another good exercise too is to just look through, dating profiles or your regular social media profiles. Look at them and just kind of think to yourself, like, if I didn't know, like in my case, if I didn't know Nate, what would I think of this guy if I was scrolling through? What would I think of these pictures and stuff like that? And I'm not going to say that my profiles are perfect by any means, but, how much cringe stuff have you posted in the last year? Stuff that objectifies women or kind of disrespects them or relates, especially if it like relates, relationships back to like something pornographic, something kind of gross. Like a classy woman a lot of time is gonna like, if she sees you on a dating profile, she's gonna like, and she does see something she likes, or you like start messaging back and forth, she's probably gonna search to see if you're on Facebook. And if your settings are set to public, she's gonna look at your posts. And if they're all like kind of discussing stuff, not even from, just the standpoint of like, I don't know, gory or anything, but just if they're like discussing that, and again, if they relate things to like pornographic or like dirty jokes or whatever, like that stuff's pretty cringe. And if she's got some class, she's probably gonna cringe at it and just ghost you, move on to the next thing. Which, again, you as a guy, you would do the same thing for different reasons if you creeped her Facebook. If you found her and found that she was, I don't know, talking about doing promiscuous things with a whole lot of guys or something like that. To most guys, something like that is a turnoff, and you're probably gonna stop talking to her, So all of this stuff really works both ways. But again, look at what you're doing through the lens of others. Either do it yourself, ask a buddy or two, combine that data, and really that's when you can start to turn around that inner game of what you're doing by looking at things objectively. So step number 5 is to work on your inner game and make the overall attitude that you have more positive. What does that mean? Well, typically, being a positive person is really attractive to those around you. It will even help you show up better in your current relationships, with your friends, with your family, and it's very attractive. Even if I was out selling something, door to door or business to business, which I've done that all of my adult life. I've been in business selling. If I walked in and I was like, well, my product sucks, but maybe you could try it. Like, nobody's in the world is going to listen to me, right? You wouldn't be listening to this video right now if I was a negative Nelly. However, if you take your inner game as a whole and you make your attitude, your lease on life more positive, you're going to attract higher quality people in general, and that will translate to the type of women that you're attracting, that you're starting to go out with. So again, if you kind of have like this mental game of like, well, I can do anything I put my mind to, and I'm just going to go out. When I go out, I'm going to have fun and talk to a few people, and it would be cool if I do meet a girl or something like that. But I'm just going out to have fun. If you have this very, again, positive attitude that draws people to you, that can just help your game overall. You're going to show up better in the relationships that you have, friends and family, stuff like that. But it will just help you to attract better. So I was actually talking about this with my wife last night, because we have kind of a funny story. We actually went out a few times in our younger years, like our earlier 20s, and we'd go on one date and then we wouldn't go out anymore because she knew I was kind of too douchey at the time. But then when I was like 28, a lot of my mindset had turned around. I had done this inner work that I'm preaching now, and she saw me out somewhere and I was having fun. You know, I greeted her, I gave her a hug. I'm like, oh, it's so good to see you. You know, we should talk sometime, but I'm gonna go have fun with my friends, and I did. You know, it was like at an outdoor concert event, and that just kind of took her aback because she could tell that my outlook had changed. Even, and that interaction maybe was 10 seconds, 20 seconds. She could tell that my outlook had changed on a lot of things, and I wasn't putting, like, I was definitely attracted to her and wanted to go out with her at that moment. Don't get me wrong, but my inner game was more the attitude of like, if that's cool, it'll happen, and I'm here to have fun, and if we talk more down the road, that would be really cool. So it's almost like a planting seeds, a reaping what you sow kind of thing. But all that positivity, you know, she saw that, and that I was a different person than when we'd gone out on like a little dinner date, you know, 3 years ago. It was so much different, and that the sky was the limit on my life. That was very attractive to her, and that actually caused her to start messaging me on Facebook, and then that evolved into our dating relationship. So, which, believe it or not, the women reaching out to you when you have the right attitude and your life turned around, and you just kind of market yourself as an attractive person, you know, you it's adding value. You bring value to a relationship. You know, you're not just, oh, well, you know, I make X amount and I live in my mom's basement. Like, there's no value there. To where you're a high value, positive person that, you know, no matter what happens, you make it at least on life to be successful. That is going to be attractive. So that's really working on the inner game as a whole and making it more positive overall. And your results will inevitably get better if you do these 5 steps. So my name is Nate. I'm a dating coach for men. Again, I work on getting you the long-term happy relationship that you want. I want you to have love, and I want you to have what I have. So when I wake up in the morning, you know, I reach over and give the wife a smooch, and 5.5 years, just about 6 years of being married, I'm still so happy. You know, through the life gives us ups and downs, but we're still always happy with each other, especially when I'm behaving myself. I can be a little bit to put up with, but I want that type of thing for all you men out there, because most of you, that's what you truly want. You say that, well, I just want a girlfriend or whatever, but if, again, we go to that deeper level and ask, why do you want this, why do you want that, like, what is it that you really want? Most of you actually do want marriage, the long-term happy relationship, kids, stuff like that. Most of you, that's what you want, but you kind of have a tough time getting there. Follow these steps, and then like and subscribe. You know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, where I try to put out content like this at least once a week, but sometimes it becomes twice. I am really busy. Along with that, go to PattersonCoachingWNY.com. That's my actual Facebook website, and that will give you contact information for me. So if you wanted to actually work directly with me, you know, it's not a course, it's me coaching you through what's holding you back, doing what I did when I was younger to increase my dating game and really my life game. But if you want to work one-on-one with me, we'll do a video chat, so it's all online. Do it through a video chat call, and we'll probably spend over an hour together, you know, breaking down what's going on in your world. And that consultation is free. And if it's something, man, that you want to take this journey and find Mrs. Awesome and get you there, then we will get you there. So reach out. I've got a phone number on there, email, you know, whatever your, you know, format you're comfortable reaching out to me, Facebook message, and I'd love to chat with you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.